Well, welcome back from the long break. This is the News from the Real World podcast. I'm Quinn.
I'm Jess.
I'm Jody.
And making a special guest appearance just for one article,
Eleanor Bishop.
Excellent. Take it away, Eleanor.
Okay, so this first article is about The Hobbit. I'm not sure of the exact name of it.
Resident Kiwi, right here.
This is your resident Kiwi expert phoning in. This is from scoop.co.nz and it's written by Helen Kelly. And it's an article detailing in great length the whole saga of the Hobbit industrial dispute, which I'm sure most people don't know about. What is a dispute between the Actors Union of New Zealand and Warner Brothers and the producers of The Hobbit. And basically what happened, this was very, very dramatic news in New Zealand in 2010, I can tell you that. The Actors Union of New Zealand wanted to collectively bargain with The Hobbit so that all the actors on The Hobbit could get a standard kind of deal and a fair deal. And Warner Brothers and The Hobbit had refused to do that. So they enlisted the support of the international actors on The Hobbit, like Ian McKellen, and they all agreed that they wouldn't sign their contracts until Peter Jackson, etc., agreed to negotiate with the actors. Yes. So that was kind of all they wanted, right?
Solidarity.
But that was blown way out of proportion, and it was all in the media that we were going to lose The Hobbit because of these greedy actors.
And it's a part of the national identity now in New Zealand. How do you feel about that, Eleanor?
A little embarrassed, but, also pride. I often talk about being a New Zealander overseas and having instances of shame pride. You're simultaneously embarrassed and also proud of New Zealand. So anyway, it all got blown way out of proportion, but what ended up happening is that the actors dropped the potential boycott, obviously, and then Warner Brothers flew to, we saw shots of a bunch of executives stepping out of a limo and having meetings with the Prime Minister of New Zealand. And what they managed to negotiate was a really quick law change which basically denied collective bargaining rights for all film workers in New Zealand, not just actors, but all the technical people who are a massive part of The Hobbit, and then a massive tax subsidy for The Hobbit paid for by the New Zealand tax back. So it was really a case of the big man winning, but New Zealand got to keep The Hobbit. Not that they were, now these documents have come out that they were in any danger of losing it.
Where else are they going to film it?
Yeah, which is more important.
New Zealand is Middle Earth to the rest of the world.
Oh man, when power is denied from the people. My soul crushes a little.
I thought Peter Jackson kind of came off as a jerk in this article. Because you think of him as the artist because he created these films, but really he's a producer now. Yeah.
Well, he is an artist, but I guess the question is how far is he willing to go to get his art made? Is it about the money? If it's really about the money,
then
about
the money.
No, that's what I'm saying. But if he can convince Miramax to write him a blank check. They wrote him a blank check the first time around. I don't understand why he didn't have as much clout this time around. But that was so successful.
He didn't even originally want to make the movies, direct them. He just wanted to produce them, and he hired Guillermo del Toro, I believe, and then it just didn't work, so he stepped in. Yeah, it's about the money, Jody.
I guess it's called show business for a reason.
It makes your heart hurt all of it.
I know.
It's okay. They're terrible movies. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know what? I've never seen any of the movies, but I have seen all 12 hours of special features for the Lord of the Rings movies, and the special features are awesome.
They're fascinating, actually.
Yeah, you have to see how they made all that chainmail. Yeah.
We have digressed.
Well, there you have it. Eleanor, thank you.
Sullying the international reputation of New Zealand and overseas. Thank you.
Have a good morning, Eleanor. All right, Jody, as always, you've taken the Disney article. What's happening in Disney World these days?
Disney confirmed that Frozen will skate its way to Broadway.
Was there ever a doubt, really?
No, not when they have, I think there's 5 Tony Award winners / nominees in their cast. One of them is CMU alum Josh Gad, just to throw it out there. Anyway,
Will any of those people
there's
no casting news
there's
yet.
no commitment to casting right now. There's not even commitment to a date. My quote from Bob Iger is that they've not put a timeline on it. We are looking for excellence, not speed. So
I feel like this is one of the fastest turnarounds for Disney from
The
movies.
thing's still in theaters.
It's not even out on DVD
Yeah.
yet, and they're
Yeah.
already talking about bringing it to Broadway.
Still probably in the top 10
you know
box
what? You know
office.
what? I'd be happy to be wrong about this, but I'll bet you it's gonna skate to Netflix really quickly because it's not. I
Does
enjoyed
Disney put
it.
stuff on Netflix?
Yeah,
Yes,
Disney
they
just
do.
released last year on.
Yeah, they do. But there are other movies that I was surprised to see go to Netflix so quickly, and I don't think. And this is a very enjoyable, thoroughly watchable movie, but people are listening to it more than watching
Yeah,
it.
it's like the top downloaded album.
Yeah.
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 I wonder if that's not
ridiculous.
just a part of this fascination with this movie all of a sudden is, well, we can't access the movie now, let's listen to it. Well, we can until we get the DVD.
Yeah.
Well, no, because I feel like the people. I mean, there's probably an element of truth to that, but I feel like the things that you can listen to are just as easily watchable on YouTube. Like those, Let It Go has
Well,
so many YouTube hits.
Supposedly it's like, I mean, it's a cartoon, but it's like a full-on musical.
Yeah.
Yes?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And they
Have either
don't-
you seen it?
yeah, I have seen it, and
Oh, that was so cute!
I'm gonna lose my train of thought. Thanks.
Images of Disney cartoons.
Oh, I know what I was gonna say, but you know what? It's the first musical that Disney's done in a very long time. I feel like many of their movies, used to be song after animated and song after song after
Beauty
song,
and
and
the
they're
Beast.
not Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin,
Lion
Lion King,
Hunchback.
all these things that are now
Yeah.
on Broadway.
What was the last one? Tangled only had like 2 songs in the whole movie.
Yeah, was that Disney though? Or was that DreamWorks?
I thought that was
I don't know.
No, that's Disney, because wasn't that the Rapunzel character?
Uninformed.
I don't know.
All right. Well, we could listen to them talk about Disney. all
Basically,
day.
I did not pull at one specific student comment because basically there's just, overwhelming enthusiasm for this. And I think that whether or not it's successful design-wise, which I think there's huge potential for it to be, it's going to make so much money because of
Everyone's
people-
gonna want.
everyone's
to see
going to want to see an ice castle on stage, There's so many ways you could do it. So,
There you have it.
there you have it.
Moving along to another student pick. This is from FastCompany.com by Drake Bear, entitled "Why Weird People Are More Creative."
Quinn, you are the perfect person to tell us about this.
I know. Basically, this article talks about how the minds of creative people work in that they have what are called low latent inhibitions that allow them to just think in a different manner. There's this wonderful kind of section from the article here that says, a person with low latent inhibitions would not only see a yellow desk lamp, they may also think of bananas. SpongeBob SquarePants, or SpongeBob SquarePants eating a banana, or possibly concoct a whole dissertation in their head about whether or not SpongeBob likes to eat bananas or how he could get them down in the ocean. So you see how the train of thought goes with creative people. One thing chains on to another and another and another and another until suddenly you've invented a light bulb.
This article just made me laugh because so many of my friends joke around, oh, I don't have a filter, and this just scientifically proved that we're all working in the arts, we're all creative.
Yeah.
They actually don't have a filter.
Did this hit home? This article hit home with either of you? You're in the arts.
Yeah,
creative
I
people.
did because my thoughts always go faster than I can keep up with them, and
Yeah.
the tangent to tangent to tangent to tangent thing. I don't know that I could create a whole dissertation in my head, although maybe I have, and I just haven't documented it. Ain't nobody got time for that. But you know what I mean. But you think about it, don't you?
I thought I totally related to the article.
There's a fine line between they say there's a fine line between genius and madness, right? And do we not see that every day in this building?
Every day. In fact, that brings along a great quote from Erika Jackson. I guess I can agree with the article when I see music theater students singing Beyoncé songs in the cafeteria at loud volumes, or when I see computer science majors running around on sticks playing a real Quidditch match. However, these weird people possess an intellectuality and high intelligence which make these individuals innovative or creative. So yeah.
My question about it is I'm not necessarily a creative person. So just because my thoughts go faster than I can keep up with them, does that make me creative?
You're in the arts. Obviously, you have to problem solve in a creative manner
Right.
constantly.
Yeah, I think there's like a difference between being a creative thinker and then like being a creative hands-on person. Like I can't design anything, but like creative problem solving, absolutely. So like my brain doesn't. I don't feel like my brain doesn't work that way, but it really, I guess it does.
You're entering the age-old argument that I think we've even had on podcasts. Like, are we
Don't
artists?
even go
yeah,
there.
Are we artists?
Well, you know, the people that they kind of mention in this article are Einstein and Dickens, and their sort of eccentric behavior that went along with their creativity. Did that ring a bell for either of you? That hit home? Do you have any eccentric behavior you'd like to share with our
I hate
audience?
defaulting to that, but yes,
Just
absolutely.
look around the world. You can see people doing crazy things all over. I mean, they go warm up in stairwells and dance down the hallways and join in sing-alongs in the lobby at the drop of a hat. Like,
I mean,
Completely.
yeah, I was thinking like larger scale than that. Like you don't even have to. I mean, we're on an intellectual campus, I guess you could say. So like if you expand beyond this building, if you go like next door to Neil Simon, or is that what it's called? I call it Neil Simon. That's not actually what it's called. That building over there. You know, there's genius in that building too, and the robot that carries the pizza. I mean,
it's just different kinds of creativity.
it's
and
just
it
all
all
kinds of
stems
creativity,
from
different kinds
this
of
not
madness.
having a
Well,
filter.
What's madness? There are people wearing shorts outside right now.
That's
It is
madness.
1 degree, for the record. It's
yeah,
one.
it's very
1
cold
degree.
in Pittsburgh.
No reason to be wearing shorts, but maybe those people are just really, really smart, and I don't see it.
Well, you know, the Harvard psychologist that they quote talks about how while most of us have a fair amount of latent inhibition helping us filter out irrelevant data, creative and maybe also psychotic people aren't quite so ordered. You know, they talk about Einstein picking up the cigarette butts.
Oh, yeah.
And so that he'd have tobacco later. Very odd. Making for what Harvard psychologist Shelley Carson calls cognitive disinhibition. She defines it as the failure to ignore information that is irrelevant to current goals or to survival. In other words, it's allowing for more info to come in than seems immediately beneficial. That makes sense.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
That is really interesting.
You know, and I think about it when I feel like I'm at my most creative as an artist, it's always in the kind of downtime moments of the day, like, you know, in the shower or riding the bus where suddenly my thoughts are allowed to drift and I don't have to focus on.
I feel the exact opposite. I feel I always have like the breakthroughs when I'm focusing really hard on something else, and like all of a sudden the thought just pops into your head.
Yeah, see,
and
that's how I feel too.
It's that
because
filter that's letting like these
yeah.
non-related thoughts pop into your head, and then like there's your genius.
See, I have that in the downtime when those are allowed to come, but it's never on when, all right, I'm going to sit and think about this, you know.
I'm with Quinn.
creative
For
problem.
me, it's like it's when it's not even a conscientious decision. I'm allowed to unplug. It's just, you know, when I can't in that last 5 minutes before I go to sleep, or unfortunately when I will always forget it in the first 2 minutes when I wake up, or in the shower, or when I'm
Yeah.
driving in traffic, or when I'm walking to school, or times when I'm not plugged in.
Well, this ends this segment
Yeah.
of the News from the Real World podcast. I'm Quinn.
Jess.
I'm Jody.
Join us for segment 2. Ooh, there's honey in my voice today.